Well, for our low wealth person, who might have, because of that reason, his or her interest rate high, as you see, the probation rates uh, he will require has become very high. Actually, the wage is higher than the actual wage for $35,000 basically. 50 no accepted value without probation wage, and maybe I have put the values in the wrong places. I'm sorry for that. So this should be basically okay. This should be some of it. Yes. Now it is $25,000 for the guy who has low probability of fire, and it is $29,000 for the guy who has high probability of fire, almost close to the alternative income, because losing this alternative income is now costing a lot for the low wealth guy. Let's put this low wealth guy to this side actually. With just numbers. And let's also have here a high wealth guy with relatively low discount rate. Now, of course, we still have a probability wage with the relatively lazy low wealth, high wealth guy minus 12,000, but the more less lazy, let's say, high wealth guy, he will require 25,000, so $3,300 and $15,000 basically. Well, still there's actually, if you do this, some gap between the relatively skilled low wealth guy and the unskilled high wealth guy. There is still a gap. So $25,000 in this case looks like a good probation wage, basically. But if you make it more complicated, I mean, the risk adverse effect is also added. Maybe even this might disappear. But basically, adding this simple fact that, I mean, this is simple fact. I mean, people can be risk adverse or risk neutral, and however, at the very least, basically, the people tend to discount future income. I mean, that's a basic thing which is true for almost all people. So, this is the probation wage subject. And now we can start looking to the question. This is the end of the topic part of this lecture. So let's look to the questions. Write a case which would create an incentive for a worker to decrease his or her effort below the level he commits to put work. If the alternative of not working and the benefit of working is relatively small, that creates an incentive to decrease the effort level. Plus, if probability of being caught is little, again, he or she might decrease the effort level. In which case, that's actually, we have seen it in this model, basically. Here. So, and also if gain of, I mean, doing this is high for one is not the other. Maybe because this person, by decreasing the effort level, he or she might get something crucial for him. For example, call his parents or his children once in a while which means decreasing the effort, but that might be important for her. So that was also the case. I mean, the gain of decreasing the effort level might be something beneficial. In which case, a worker is more likely to retire earlier. Well, if according to the model we have seen, well, if the difference between the wage level and the payoff of not working gets basically equal earlier, and it might get equal earlier for different reasons. Maybe the performance of the guy falls down and wages kind of proportional to that performance, and the guy might be saving money so that he might have wealth, and without working he might still have a comfortable, maybe even a better life, because time is saved. Plus, the company might be giving incentives to the guy by providing some retirement income even after he quits from the job, which might increase the payoff. So what is a performance bond? This is the money paid to the company before starting to the job. It might be paid monthly or yearly in some cases, usually followed by payment which is proportional to the performance of the person. Interestingly, I mean, something similar to this was done by the newspaper sellers in the New York City. I mean, they were children mostly, and they needed to actually pay for the newspapers and then sell the newspapers. And actually, the difference of the money they could get by selling the newspapers was a few cents only. I mean, if after they sell all the newspapers, of course. So that's a case where performance bond like a policy is applied. Assume the curve V represents the wage paid to a worker throughout the years. Assume MP represents the value of marginal product. According to graph below, what is the period the workers exploited the employer according to the classical definition? Before T0, since the wage is below VMP, the worker is exploited. So now, similar question, 30 years, I mean, we have seen before, 30 years, we have there is a constant level job, or there is a job where he could get zero negative or lower interest wage. Interest rate of worker is zero. Just if you want, actually, it would be fun to look what will happen if this is not zero. So probation wage, if probability of fire is 0.1 and 10,000 and 100 are the wages. So let's make it 0. This will do this actually, and let's make this these things disappear since they are irrelevant. So this is 10,000. This is 100,000. So actually, the guy with 0.1 probability of being fired is ready to pay $2,340,000, basically in this case. What will it be if, I mean, now I will decrease the company wage to $20,000. In this case, our guy is willing to pay $251,000 basically. That's why actually the difference was kept small in the model, because if you keep the difference at reasonable amount, probation wage actually falls to negative and very high negative values if you have discount rate 0, of course. If at the moment you put the discount rate, things are changing. For example, this is $1 million. Let's put a 0.9 discount rate. Well, still you have something, but this is what, let's say $100,000. Yes, now you can see actually it's still you still have a negative value, but more reasonable negative value, and now the difference is really very, very large. course, if you are able to get $1 million per year in one case and $10,000 per year in one case, that's something completely else. So 10,000, 199% of being probability of being fired. So this is again 0. And let's see. In that case, still negative. $2,900 is paid. Just for fun. Let's do this also. Now again negative. The difference is just too much. What should be the probation wage for the long-term employment if is under 1,000? Alternative job is 10,000. Probability of being fired is 10. Worker for interest rate for 0.1 and worker for interest rate for 0.9. Okay. For 0.1, what do we want? We want being fired is 0.1. So it is minus $748,000 basically. Make 0.9, it has turned to around $80,000. I mean, from hundreds, it has turned to thousands. Just make this even more extreme. Well, it is interesting. It is so basically, this is it. This is the question. It is possible to play with it further. You might do that. And it's always nice to play with the model to find its boundaries, basically. But, well, for the purpose of this lecture, we might say we are done now. Next time we will start looking to the internal labor markets, which is also, as I said, connected topic. So see you in the next lecture, and as always, I hope you will stay healthy.